I mean, it's a beautiful day outside. Maybe some people need to appreciate going outside and going away from your computer for a little while. Unless you're a savage. I'm a savage. I'm buying some Bitcoin. I'm going to be accumulating more. I've been accumulating more Bitcoin and my favorite cryptocurrencies because I have a different mentality. I'm not panicking. I'm not crying. I'm essentially I see this as a sale because I have faith in cryptocurrency because I've done my research in regards to these technologies, and it's clear and basically readily it's verified that we're going to see cryptocurrency take roots in more and more elements of society, simply for anybody who could tell the simple fact that cryptocurrency is a symptom of a much larger paradigm shift that's really happening in the midst of the new age of the internet, overtaking the old age of the old paradigms that we had been seeing before. But I mean, if you guys think that seeing something like the market cap dropping down to 191 billion, I mean, that's chump change. Let's talk about some real numbers here. Let's talk about, I mean, if you guys want something to FOMO about, feel sad about, I mean, the U.S. national debt is definitely a worthy conversation, and I mean, this what I was thinking about earlier. I mean, there's plenty of people out there who like to talk crap about cryptocurrency, like to talk about how the end of cryptocurrency is right in front of us. But I mean, we look at what's happening with I mean, all these different countries all around the world, and the things that are happening on an international level, and it's pretty obvious that there is a need for something to come up and essentially overtake the entirety of the space, and reshape the way that people are functioning and the way that society has been doing things. So yeah, I mean, I know the clickbait title. I know this title of this live stream is clickbait, but hey, I mean, that's what you get on YouTube. I mean, you're on YouTube, you get some free content, and you just got to deal with the fact that the titles are going to be a little clickbaity, because how else are you going to get people to watch your content on here? And if you guys have anything to say against clickbait titles, well, you can unsubscribe to this channel right now, because I really don't care if you guys don't. So yeah, I mean, so my whole point of putting the clickbait title there, I think that it's funny. I think that it's, I mean, I'm gonna go. Let's see how many clickbait titles we can find by Fox News or by whoever. I'm sure TechCrunch. I mean, is this a what you'd call a clickbait title? I mean, it's pretty clickbaity to me. I mean, if Ethereum's falling price splits crypto community, I mean, that seems pretty major. I mean, I'm not saying, I mean, if you guys show up either way, you know what I mean, then but remember, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is not financial advice. This video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. Remember, I'm not your dad. So all that being said, I mean, compare myself to fake news. It's all if you're on the internet, it's all fake news. Got me to click on it, lol. I mean, yeah, so we're all together here, we're all hanging out, and yeah, at least I look good. That's all that matters. So yeah, I mean, we're looking at YouTube. I mean, the modern investor made a video, crypto market will recover like before. I mean, this is sort of along the lines of like a similar sentiment that I have, because I'm banking on the crash. You know what I mean? The more I think about it, the more I think about the current paradigm is up for the same amount of volatility that the cryptocurrency space is. And don't think that your money's safe in the bank any more than it is on any of these random any of these crypto technologies. I see blockchain as really having a fundamental place in the future. So yeah, let's talk about Digibyte. Because when we're talking about blockchain, what's a couple percentage among friends? Digibyte ranks in the number 31 position. It's faster than Bitcoin. It's faster than Ethereum. It's faster than Litecoin. And I think that Digibyte is actually more accurately priced. Nobody cares what I have to say, but if I were to share my opinion with anybody out there who's interested, I'd say that the functionality aspects of what Bitcoin accomplishes, and then you take into consideration the potential that's in store for Digibyte. I'd say that over the next couple of years, we'll definitely see these technologies that have a really strong, it's a really strong community that's built around them. Obviously there's a lot of people on here who are going to unsubscribe because if I tell certain people, if I tell you guys, if you don't like the content, unsubscribe, I'm serious. You know what I mean? This content is only for people who are, interested in, being friends, and you know what I mean? But yeah, let's talk about some Cardano, right? Because I know a lot of people are subscribed to the channel to hear me talk about the possibilities for Cardano. And we see the name like Cardano pumping up, hopping up next on door with something like Google. We look up what news is happening regarding Cardano, and it's interesting to see how the team has been driving this everything in a different direction. But yeah, we will be making an interesting video about Cardano and what might be happening on the 15th of August, so definitely stay on the lookout for that. But yeah, definitely the whole theme of this video is I just want people to think about like the world debt clock now. This is another interesting one. China's debt, everything is skyrocketing as usual. So there's definitely if you need a motivation to to get out of all this chaos that we're seeing happening here, cryptocurrency, when we talk about the fact that crypto is a paradigm shift, this is what we're talking here. We're talking about this problem and the solution and the potential for a solution. But of course, this is coming head to head with the old paradigm and the old interests and the people who have money and have their have the say in what's going to happen next and so forth. So it's anybody's guess, I suppose. What's going to happen. Certainly, we did see a lot of scams, a lot of different scams were getting exposed over this past week, and that definitely does have a lot to do with the crypto space and where things currently are. But like I said, what's a few $1 billion off the market cap among good friends, right? And I consider cryptocurrency my friend. So when I see that it's going through some rocky times, I'm not gonna jump ship. Even though Ethereum is $200 right now, I see that as in my own opinion, that's a good thing for me. I'm happy to see Ethereum at $200. That means I can go get myself a full Ethereum. And I remember back when Ethereum was in the thousands of dollars, and in the cryptocurrency space, it is fairly likely that we will see these technologies revisiting their all-time highs at some point in the future. So it is something to look forward to. Now Bitcoin dominance 54.5%, so more than half now. Half of the total space dominated by Bitcoin. More interesting things happening. Buy Ethereum back at 100. That is one way to do it. You could wait for Ethereum to drop even lower. It's pretty much up to you, I guess. What you do. Obviously, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, but that world debt clock does keep ticking. Let's look at these numbers here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 digits. That's 9 digits. So that's the 964 million. try and say the world debt, I mean the US debt, like 345,964,000,000, so 21,345,964,556,789,100,000 and going up. And gross, so GDP, gross domestic product, and so forth. Something that's worth studying, definitely worth keeping an eye on, the world debt. You got silver. Yeah, silver is also an option. However, I mean, I think that the future is digital. Market cycles are real. So yeah, let's go through the cryptos here, talk about the potential for these technologies in the future. So yeah, Bitcoin, solid still. I still have faith in Bitcoin for the future. Ethereum, I believe smart contracts and the fact that Ethereum is so well associated with Bitcoin. Ethereum's a pretty smart crypto as far as from my perspective and what I hope to accomplish in my lifetime. I think Ethereum's definitely an interesting one. XRP is crap. I mean, I have made plenty of videos about XRP and Ripple, but you know, it is too tied into the establishment. I know that I've talked about before how this is also a positive for XRP, the fact that we've seen like so many banks and all these different companies taking such an interest in XRP. But think about it, I mean, we see like Bill Clinton. I mean, who likes Bill Clinton? I mean, he's showing up at the XRP conferences. It's all the wrong people. But then again, I'm not counting out XRP because it does have a fundamental chance, as it is closely connected with the establishment, and that's one of the pros and cons. Bitcoin Cash is a winner. Stellar, I was actually having an interesting conversation with one of my subscribers earlier today, and of course, if you guys aren't already subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do subscribe. But we were talking about why people hate on XRP so much, and Stellar tends to get a pass, but I'd say I'm more of a fan of Stellar than I am of XRP ultimately. But EOS, I'd say EOS is a winner. Litecoin is pretty much, I know I shit on Litecoin from time to time, but I am also looking forward to seeing how Litecoin, especially because it's way down right now. I mean, $51 for a full Litecoin. I mean, that's pretty amazing. Obviously, Tether, staying at $1. I remember when Tether dropped a few cents below $1, people were panicking pretty hard with the whole controversy that was surviving around that. But then Cardano, of course, I would also talk about how Cardano is like the next generation of cryptocurrencies, you know, really leveraging smart contracts and the potential for it. Yeah, and I'm not even knocking XRP. I think everybody has to make up their own decisions when it comes to XRP, and it is certainly a interesting technology, and I think that its connections with the establishment are going to you know, I mean, yeah, and the fact that EOS, its issues with, you know, decentralized versus centralized is obviously going to be, you know, a big issue. You know, the technologies that choose to not be decentralized are, I believe, ultimately going to fall by the wayside. Similarly, we'll see something of a similar note happening involving the cryptos, you know, of a similar token that don't apply, you know, blockchain. I think blockchain is really going to be important. And of course, you know, Monero, the privacy technology. Now, I know privacy technologies are pretty controversial, because there's the issue of how they're going to survive into the future and what we're going to be seeing as far as, you know, the society accepting technologies like Monero. But I definitely think that it has its place in the future. And you know, I was just kidding earlier when I said that you guys should unsubscribe. I definitely think that you guys should subscribe. I'm just kidding. Do whatever you want. But yeah, let's check out IOTA. It's pretty decent, I'd say. But then Tron, made videos about Tron in the past. The interesting thing about Tron is that, I mean, currently we're seeing you know, Twitter and Facebook and all these different technologies are coming to a swift and steady decline. They're losing stock, they're losing user engagement, and this is ultimately opening up a vacuum where cryptocurrency has essentially a great opportunity now to swoop in and take up a lot of this internet activity that people were ultimately using technologies like you know, Twitter and so forth. These different services are coming to a decline, so it is interesting to see stuff like Tron and the potential that's in store for it. But yeah, so then Dash, similar story to Monero, but I do have faith in Dash. I think that it will live on. It's maintained you know, its value over $100 because similarly with Monero, because you can sort of tell in times of panic like these, people tend to go towards Bitcoin because it's the tallest that you can, it's the highest room of the tallest tower with the most name recognition. But then of course Dash and Monero and similarly these privacy technologies do gain you know, sort of a lot of attention due to facts that are pretty self-evident when you take into consideration you know, the fact that people want privacy. It's in high demand. And then Ethereum Classic, I'd say, is pretty interesting one to pay attention to as well, down to $10 however, so something to pay attention to there. Neo, I mean, Neo is massively overvalued. I'm actually sort of it's getting down very, very low. I remember back when Neo was up very in the hundreds. I mean, it was pretty valuable back then, but now I mean, also something to take into consideration. I'm not going to knock it because I do think that China does have a good future, you know, incoming, and it's definitely something to pay attention to. I mean, Neo is certainly one of the most interesting cryptos. I mean, we've talked about Neo before on here, and we've talked about you know, the potential that Neo has with the smart economy. Because when you think about it, we've seen people, we've seen the smartphone, we've seen the smart dishwasher. It only seems logical to move on to the next step and have the smart economy. And I think that the forward-thinking approach that China has taken in regards to this is really going to be a fundamental variable as we see these next phases of the you know, the various different technologies and so forth. But for those of you just joining, the theme of this video is the world debt. It's the fact that so many people panic and you know, are so stressed out when it comes to cryptocurrency, but cryptocurrencies are really kind of a gift when you think about it, because we have days like these when things are completely down in the dirt, in the ditches, but then tomorrow we might see things all the way up, you know, in the green across the board, and it'll happen eventually. So I mean, it's important not to cry about you know, the different things that you see happening, you know, and because you know, it's a really tough world, you know. You know what I mean? I don't know, but yeah, let's see. These are the dates I'm paying attention to. August 15th. We already talked about that. August 15th does have some interesting things happening involving Cardano, which we've talked about. Update Bitcoin charts. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm very pleased with my investment. Optimism. This really is my repeat until broken. Yeah. Yeah, when people are feeling fear is the best time. I mean, and we were talking about all the different scams that were getting exposed lately. I'm not shaken. I have strong hands when it comes to cryptocurrency. I've been involved with this space for enough years now where I'm used to, you know, seeing people panicking, as they will. And it's pretty self-explanatory. So, which one are we on? Binance Coin, definitely interesting one. Doge, definitely, it's not a long term, but Digibyte now. Digibyte, definitely an interesting crypto with its blockchain and its strong community. Definitely a lot of interesting things happening with Digibyte moving forward into the future. And I mean, Steam, I'm interested in Steam for similar reasons as to why I've been paying attention to Tron. The fact of the matter is that we're seeing Facebook and Twitter and all these news, all these old mainstream things. They're coming to an end. Twitter is fast in decline, and it's happening right in front of us. But at the same time, we're seeing cryptocurrency is really a major paradigm shift that's happening. So it's definitely interesting to see how people would rather choose to pay attention to the volatility that's happening involving Bitcoin, but then they really they sort of miss the boat with what's happening on a much larger scale. So I would definitely say don't be one of those people who just is always panicking about what's happening, because I mean the global market collapse of the old paradigm is going to happen whether you like it or not. There's going to be a $70 trillion bubble that bursts eventually within our lifetime. Some of you watching this might be a little bit older. You might be in your 30s or 40s. And if you're lucky, but I would say within the next 20 years, we could definitely realistically expect some pretty exciting things to be happening on the global level. But when I hear bad things happening for the euro and the USD and the yen, I think of that as sort of a good sign for what's going to be happening with cryptocurrency, because that's going to be when the everyday person really starts to gain more interest in this space and so forth. So I mean, yeah, Digibyte, definitely an interesting technology to be paying attention to as we move forward, because there's so much potential for the Digibyte blockchain. It's pretty insane. I mean, moving forward, we could definitely expect to be seeing some big things happening with Digibyte. There's certainly a technology and a team that's well aware of what's happening, involving how the internet is going to overlay with society, and essentially things are happening pretty quickly now. And of course, if you are at all interested in connecting with us, you can do so by following us on our Twitter. That's at CryptoTuber. And of course, I'd like to see some new people adding us on Snapchat so that we can continue to have a conversation about cryptocurrency behind the scenes. So obviously I got the Snapchat up on the screen there. So if any of you are interested, you can easily connect with us through Snapchat. And yeah, so I mean, can I get some people in the chat? If you're listening, if you're gonna add me on Snapchat, can you just type like yes in the chat, or like, yeah, join the Snapchat? Yeah, if you guys, I just would like to I mean, I'm not going to be streaming all day, but the next time I do stream, I'll put out a notification on Snapchat. So if you guys are at all interested in seeing you know what I mean, so definitely add yeah, join. So yeah, make sure that you guys join the Snapchat. That's all. I'm not going to keep saying it. Counting flowers on the wall. Yeah, I know some. I've been talking to a lot of you on Snap, but just like all the usernames kind of look the same on in the chat. You know what I mean? Or if you don't want to add me on Snap, then I don't want you on Snap. Dad doesn't repeat himself more than I don't repeat myself more than freaking 20 times. That's just like a problem that I've always had since middle school. I just forget that I said stuff and then I end up repeating it and then people tell me later. But yeah, Stellar, definitely an interesting cryptocurrency to be paying attention to. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave the debt clock up. So if you guys want to continue talking amongst yourselves in the chat, I'll be back. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a Snapchat, then you should make one. Counting flowers on the wall, smoking cigarettes and watching Captain Kangaroo. Tell me. If you don't have a Snapchat, then add me on Twitter. But yeah, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go downstairs and grab a drink. But I'm gonna continue live streaming in about 5 minutes. So. So what's going on, everybody? I'm back, and I'm just remembering. Remember back when the world debt was much lower than it is now? No, I'm just kidding. But like, no, it is funny to think like how much the debt has gone up in such a short amount of time. That you know what I mean? Since we just even started this live stream in the past half an hour. The debt. That's the theme of this video, is the debt. But yeah, I mean, all that being said, I mean, we pretty much covered all the topics for this video, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed this content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.